Hello there, everybody. My name's Waddles, and welcome to my 10,000 subscribers special. First and foremost, thank you very much for 10K and at this point 11,000 as well. The growth has been absurd lately, and I'm so grateful and thankful for that because it's crazy. I never expected anything like that. Now, I know this video is a little late, so I apologize for that, but I've got a fun one today. I've gone ahead and built 10 one-chunk bases, and I'm going to show them off in this video. Now, this is actually the second time for me recording this video. I did the first part, and I was trying to build all of the bases on camera, and it was a long video. I figured you didn't want to see like an hour plus of me rambling about making bases, so I'm just going to show off each base. My requirement for a base is a bed, a crafting table, and a furnace, so I've worked all of those into each design, and I must say thank you specifically to Finnegan Doherty for this concept. I hope I pronounced your name right, probably not, but you left a comment, or maybe it was in the Discord somewhere, suggesting this concept, and I loved the idea. So, thank you for 10,000 subscribers, and it's time to go one by one into each base. And I'm going to begin back here with my favorite base, just kidding, of them all, which is meant to be a giant torch. Now, of course, it's a little short. I could have gone a little bit taller, but I was trying to do the dark shading over on the one side, and then the flames up on the top. Now, of course, I had to go ahead and light up the chunk completely. Like I said, each base is within its own chunk. And then I need my base requirements, so that is inside, back here. Just a small little room with a sponge ceiling, because everybody knows inside of every torch, there are sponges inside of every single torch. That's a fact. So, got all my stuff in here, and that is my first base. I'll move over here to this absurd one next because you are probably wondering, what is this monstrosity? And that's what it is. I tried to build the most basic starter house you could and make it look as bad as I possibly could with all of these patterns. So pretty scary looking. We go inside and it's even more scary looking. We went overkill with the crafting tables, of course. Got our magenta bed, pink glass, patterns everywhere. So I was trying to make something terrible looking, and I think it's safe to say I did pretty well. But moving back over here, this is one of my favorite bases that I set up here, and take a guess what it is. I was trying to build a Roman Colosseum statue type of thing. So I made this up on my own, and I think it's pretty good. Our hero here is kneeling on a rock here, made out of shulker shells, and then holding a sword in one hand that looks like a lightsaber, and then a flag, of course, in the other. Now, the temple is completely destroyed because he's too tall for the temple. Much too tall for it. And, of course, the base is down below with all of the riches, the diamonds, everything like that, all valuable. I thought this one was pretty cool, and I had a lot of fun doing this one, but this was also the hardest one by far. It was very difficult to get this person correct. I tried even putting detail on the face, but it just looked absolutely terrible, and it looked like a joke. So there we go. We have chiseled blocks as the head on this statue here. But moving over right next door, we have a mini haunted mansion, or at least that's what I was going for. This one is quite literally in the chunk, touching the border on this side, and I think on the other side of the house as well, except the front. Now, out front, we have a little walkway leading up to the house, and then if we go inside of our cool mansion, we have a nice pattern floor and a kitchen. Now, I was using cobwebs as the smoke coming out of the stove. That's a feature that I thought was really nice looking, and honestly, if you're into creative building or survival building, and you have something like this, I advise you to do it, because I think it looks really good. If I could have went into the other chunks, it would look even better, because I could have it blowing back diagonally that way, and you could actually see it, and it might look a little bit more like smoke. However, we have the whole kitchen set up in here, and then a small attic space up top, but nothing in it whatsoever. And then we swing over into the bedroom, of course, to go to sleep, and we get our little window there. And then a back door to leave our little house, and I just really like how this one turned out. I was trying to go for a little bit of a European feel here, but also a creepy feel using all of these dark colored blocks and everything. And yeah, like I just said, I really am happy with this little house, and I honestly might build something like this in a survival world at some point because I just really like the shape here. I think it's really cool. Swinging back diagonally behind that cool house is a small castle that I built. This is base number 5. Now, there's not much to this base, but I wanted to try my hand at a small little one-chunk castle. I messed up a little bit right there. That doesn't make sense. So there we go. And then up top, we just have the bed and the furnaces and the crafting tables and the chests and everything like that, with a nice little view of the world around us here. But a small castle. I don't know why I don't ever really build castles. I should probably build a massive fort one day on like a mountain with different rooms and stuff. That would be really cool. I've actually never built a large-scale castle before, so that might be a challenge for me. That would be kind of fun to do. Right next door, though, we have our giant gold 10. I thought this was a fun idea for 10,000 to build a giant 10. Now, these are both 3D, but there's nothing inside of the 0. It's all happening inside of the 1. If we walk inside, we have our yellow beds matching the theme, and then a little window so we can look out into the distance, maybe watch the sunset. Hopefully it's that way. And then up here, we have all of the base stuff. Sitting right in front of me now is probably my favorite base that I set up here out of these 10. This is meant to be a UFO invasion. There's a beam coming down from this UFO and lighting up this little farm field. We have a cow hiding, asking for help behind this hay right here. And then inside of the UFO, of course, we have all of our actual base things. Right here is the water beam that the aliens are pulling the cows up with, and they're farming them. They have all of their cow meat stored in these chests. It's something evil is happening. Right here is the steering for the UFO, a compass and a clock, of course, because everybody knows that's how a UFO works. And then we have 2 magical floating books to help with directions. Then all around here, we have everything else that we would need, including an end portal for some reason, an ender chest with a slab in it now, and a bed, and all of that stuff. But I thought the UFO was really cool, and I had a lot of fun doing this fire and the flames with the warm-colored stained glass and then concrete right below it to add to the effect. I really like the UFO, and you gotta feel bad for this cow. You already know I had to do it to him. I had to do it to you guys. A sea pickle, 1-chunk base, of course. This is the ultimate survival base because, as you can tell, there's sea pickles everywhere. If it was nighttime, for example, we would see that it is very bright around the sea pickle, both up top and on the surface here, which just means that it's probably the best survival base that you could have. Additionally, if we swing on inside, we have a super cool ceiling with a sea pickle chandelier, tons of sea pickle paintings, and even a sea pickle floor with a hidden message in it. I don't know if you can see it down there, but if you can, there's a message in there. Then we have everything else that we would need for a base, including more sea pickles on a counter, which is pretty good. And like I said, this is a pretty OP base, so if you build this in your world, something like this, be careful because it's going to kind of ruin your survival experience. It's going to make the game way too easy. This is a game-breaking base, I suppose you could say. Right next to our giant golden 10, we have a base that's pretty cool. Not as good as the giant sea pickle, but pretty cool. This is meant to be a rocket launching off, which I thought was a really cool concept. I've never built a rocket before like this, and I think it turned out decently. I, of course, have the fire coming out of the rocket down there, and then this is some kind of imaginary holding thing for the rocket because I thought about it, and I was like, hold on. I didn't build any legs for this rocket that would have held it before it launched, so it's held by this giant claw, okay? And then over here we have, of course, the entryway to the rocket, of course, still inside of the chunk, just barely put in the chunk. And then inside of the rocket is the base itself with the bed, the chests, the crafting stuff, and even an anvil this time. And again, a nice view, because you always need to have a view. Down below the floor, you can see the fire rocketing up, because that's definitely safe. And then up top, there's some kind of cool spiral thing going on, because rockets are spirals, right? And the final one chunk base right in front of me is a ship. A miniature pirate ship with, of course, a W for Waddles on the flag here. It's got its fancy little gold crown thing that is just inside the chunk border. And then on the ship, we have riches and more stuff. Down below, we have a deep deck that is so dark, definitely not a concrete block. It's just really dark in there. There's no lighting. And yeah, a nice little cannon and a plank, even for people who are not being good and have to walk the plank. So which of my 10 chunk bases is your favorite? Tell me that down below. I'm curious to hear what you guys are liking. And of course, thank you again for 10,000 subscribers. That number is absurd to me, and it's super exciting to me as well. Hopefully the growth continues, and I will continue to make videos that I hope you enjoy. My name is Waddles. I'm sorry for the late special, and I will see you next time. Goodbye, everybody. Go have a good day.